Hey guys, this is James from TeaDB, bringing you something a little bit different and a little bit less expensive than the 2014 Last Thoughts. I filmed a bunch of InBetweenIsodes right before I went on a couple trips. Now I am back, and one of the last trip that I went on was actually with Denny, where we got a chance to visit Scott, who runs Yunnan Sourcing. So we filmed a lot of content, and that stuff should, I think, be released in about 2 weeks. Started then, and we'll be releasing like an extended interview and stuff like that of him, as well as like a chance to drink through some of his Taiwan sourcing stuff and 2015 spring Pu'erh lineup. But anyways, that's not so much about this, but before we left, Scott was kind enough to give Denny and I just a couple teas. So this was just a nice little gift from Scott. And I'll just show you the brick real closely here. So this is a brick that a lot of people have said some really nice things about. H-Stir over at Tea Closet, C-Win over at deathbytea.blogspot.com have both talked about this brick. And I've actually had this tea, but kind of not had this tea. Denny and I drank through the 2007 White Dragon Lao Cha To tea, which is kind of the same base material as this tea. This one has just been compressed. So this is one of the original Yunnan Sourcing productions that they did back in 2009. And I believe it was the first ripe produced under their label. And so you can notice that I'm using the Yixing here. And so the Lao Cha To, it's a very specific type of tea that's created from just kind of the fermentation process. The nuggets fall to the bottom. These particular ones were, I think, done in 2007 harvest. And you can see that this is just brewing up a real dark liqueur. So it's kind of an oddity for me to be drinking ripe Pu'erh. But this is a really nice tea, so we are going to do it. And it's definitely ripe teas, and I think especially these nuggets really benefit from that extra heat retention, which is one of the reasons why I'm using the Yixing. So it's a little bit of a bigger vessel than I'm normally used to using just in general, but I find that it really helps to just open the tea up a little bit quicker. Alright, and that's about good. Yeah, so I'm going to let this cool down a little bit, because in addition to hitting the leaves with a little bit more heat, it also just is much hotter for me to drink. So it's very seasonally inappropriate right now. We are in the midst of a very hot summer day here in Seattle. It's only about 81, 82 right now, but it's going to get into the 90s, which for people that are from Seattle is one of the hotter days of the year. Rarely gets up much beyond that. That is still quite hot. So I'm going to have a smell of the aroma to kill some time. Ooh, that's hot. So it smells very smooth, creamy. It doesn't smell smooth. It smells creamy. It sort of has like this sweet fruit. I always have a hard time with these more fermenty Pu'erhs, just describing sort of like the fruity sweetness to it. Long on, lychee, I can see it kind of being described in that way. But really pleasant aroma. The aroma would probably actually be one of the few things that would benefit from using more of a Gaiwan approach. Let's see if I can aerate this enough with my slurping to not burn my tongue. So this is actually the third infusion. I drank the first two earlier, and they brewed up a little bit lighter. This is a little bit more enhanced. The tea has just a really nice, smooth profile. There's no funk in it at all. It's very smooth, it's creamy. Both those were listed on the flavor notes up there. It has sort of like a vanilla that sort of entered this tea. Yeah, so I would say sort of like creamy vanilla. It's not as totally just straight up sweet as the previous infusions, but it's still very, very inviting. So, vanilla sweet with maybe hints of fruit in there. So, before we close, I'm just going to quickly show you. So, the Lao Chateau, very special, very specific sort of ripe pu'erh. Definitely worth checking out this production. I think Scott also produces these yearly, but you can see that these are little nuggets that were created during the ripe pu'erh fermentation process, and so you can see the brick doesn't really look like your average ripe pu'erh or raw pu'erh juan or brick. It's just composed of lots and lots of these little nuggets. And on the description it says it can be infused up to 25 times. That's a lot of steeps. I don't know if I've ever infused this tea that many times, because usually I'll give up before the tea does, but these nuggets can give out a lot of flavor. And so I think that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely go check out that Yunnan Sourcing material that's going to be released in a couple weeks. Yeah, thank you, Scott, very much for this brick. I enjoyed it a lot. And cheers.